anything about homosexuals. But right now, I believe our junior ones, they see it every day on the movies, they hear about it in the news, the internet is there. They have access that we do not have access to.
So yeah.
So things have changed. We have to accept that things have changed. We don't have a choice. It is here already. We cannot deny that it's here.
It's deviant. I also feel the need for us to be able to control the sort of change that comes. Otherwise,
exactly.
yeah, it could be catastrophic.
Cameroon law prohibits, criminalizes homosexuality in every form.
I come from a tribe where this is not tolerated. I also belong to a religion that preaches against.
Those accused were given maximum sentence.
Healthy Mindset, Healthy Lifestyle. Hi, I am your host, Sih Njong for Healthy Mindset, Healthy Lifestyle. And here with me, I have my guest. You have Mr. Ndzelen Frankline Bernard, Esquire, welcome.
Thank you.
And Mr. Lee Warren, welcome.
Thank you, See.
You've been here with us before and you're back again. So I'm very honored to have you again.
Thank you, quite a pleasure.
Thank you. So before we move on, please, I would like you guys to give us a brief intro and most especially Mr. Frankline Bernard.
I'm Ndzelen Frankline Bernard, B. Esquire, Barrister and Solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and Cameroon, and also a member of the Cameroonian and the Nigerian Bar Association. I'm a human rights activist, and I'm also the legal representative and manager at Apex Agency Limited.
Okay, that's nice. Wow, I'm so pleased to have you.
The pleasure is mine.
As we all know, Mr. Lee is a peace advocate and activist. Sure. So how is it going so far?
And right now I have to add the author because that's...
Okay. We have new titles.
So we're not stopping there.
An author.
An author, yeah.
An author.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So the last time you were here, we talked about your book launch, which is coming up soon. So how is that going? How preparation is going so far?
It's heating up. We have a lot of volunteers who are working to give the best. And I think it would be a very unique experience. Another way of doing things.
Oh, wow. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what comes of it.
Thank you.
So we are going to dive in straight into our topic for today. And the title of our topic for today is The Rights of LGBTQIA plus community. The rights of the LGBTQIA plus community. I mean, it's a very important topic, very pertinent as well, and very, very delicate. So today I would like to, having you guys here, you being a lawyer and Mr. Lee being a peace activist, I mean, this is a very good combo for this discussion. So Esquire, please, I would like to start with you.
Okay.
So please tell us, do members of the LGBTQIA plus community have rights? Are they entitled to some rights, legal rights, both in the Cameroon law and the UN or other organizations?
I will start with the international bodies.
Okay.
The law says they do have rights. That's the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights and
Freedoms.
So the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights, as well as the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, they all define rights, and they preach equality of everyone on earth, every human, and they preach non-discrimination. So these people in this community, they also fall, they are human, so of course their rights ought to be protected.
Okay.
Yes. But now, our domestic law, Cameroon law, prohibits, criminalizes homosexuality.
Okay.
In every form. The penal code penalizes it. The cyber security and cyber crime law also penalizes it. So, but then you see the difference. The national law is backed by certain clauses in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. This clause permits countries to, in order to safeguard public order and cultural values and morals the opportunity to limit humans' freedom.
Okay.
So, based on that clause alone, I think national law is right.
Yes, a bigger stand.
Of course.
As compared to the international body law.
On this particular subject.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So individually, Cameroon has, with the way it's going when it comes to the LGBTQ community, they have full rights even the international laws cannot suppress the domestic laws of the LGBTQ.
Normally, by law, international law supersedes national law.
Okay.
But now, given, like I said, that there is a subsection within most of the international laws that talk on this particular topic, they give other countries the opportunity to limit people's freedoms when they feel like public order is being threatened, like cultural values and morals is being threatened. So based on that clause in the international law, Cameroon now has the right to enact a law criminalizing homosexuality.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Before we move on, I know some people will be doubting because it's commonly known as LGBTQ, but it goes as far as LGBTQIA+. So please, could you give us a brief, throw some more light on what all of that is, all of that abbreviation?
Okay. We'll start with the letter L.
Okay.
That's lesbian. LG. That's gay.
Yeah.
What's the next letter?
LGBTQ.
Pardon?
The
B.
Q. The
B.
yes.
Bisexual.
Yes.
And next we have
T.
T. Transgender.
The Q.
Queer.
The I.
The I for intersex.
And the A.
For agenda.
Okay. Then the plus.
The plus is for like so many other communities are coming up as
days time goes
exactly.
And they grow. Wow. Okay. That's really a lot. So, Mr. Lee, please tell us what you think about the LGBTQ community at large, and most especially in Cameroon. What's your take on it?
I think you see, this is a special community. It's been classified amongst minority communities across the world, which is very popular, but also very unpopular in a sense. Impressions about this community are hard to tell, but the first thing I like to think is that this community involves human people, and they definitely feel convenient with whatever operates within their community. And so I think it's a big concern as a human person, as a peace activist, for me to get in their space if I need to say an opinion about them and know their practice and the context that guides their practice. That way I'm able to make an informed contribution in the conversation about LGBTQ, and now I hear IA+. So it keeps increasing. Again, different communities perceive, different places around the world perceive the LGBTQ
community in different ways.
Yeah, in different ways. And I also have a need to honor their own local wisdom around how they understand.
Exactly.
Yeah. For example, I come from a tribe where this is not tolerated. Yeah. And I also belong to a religion that preaches against sex out of marriage. Okay, but because we have to talk about, when we're talking about this community, it's all about sexuality. I know there's a lot more, but the central thing is about sexuality. And people asserting themselves and asserting their rights to the different choices based on the kind of orientations they're looking at for their lives and the things that please them. Brings us to a really complex situation. But to conclude, communities have the way to perceive these things, and like the lawyer said, based on if they want to safeguard maybe some sort of cultural dignity, or public order.
Yeah.
So then I think if it's a problem in a place and they think it shouldn't be a topic around here, it's still okay if it is proven to be troublesome.
Yeah.
Whereas otherwise it's a practice, and though not natural or parallel, to me, I leave it to whoever is practicing it. They have the choice and the decision to do that.
Okay, nice. So I have this question. So do you guys think there's a tension between the traditional values and the modern values when it comes to the LGBT community? Do you think there's any tension between those two beliefs?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. There will always be that tension. And it's just, we just need to get well informed and understand that some people, like biologically, morphologically, they are born that way with some defects. People's mindsets are all different. So despite the difference, which has been there time immemorial, like our parents did not, this was not popular back then.
Yeah.
As it is popular
right
now. You see the whole idea is being pushed into every space, especially via the entertainment mainstream.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's in here. You cannot deny it. You cannot deny it. It is glaring. It's open. You can see it every day. Before it wasn't like that. When I was growing up, I could barely hear anything about homosexuals. But right now, I believe our junior ones, they see it every day on the movies. They hear about it in the news. The internet is there. They have access that we did not have access to. So things have changed. We have to accept that things have changed. The world is no more as it was before. People are more informed. People are accepting what was not accepted traditionally.
Yeah.
That's honestly, we don't have a choice. It is here already. We cannot deny that it's here.
Yeah, that's true.
It's quite an issue. I mean, with a lot of respect for your opinion, I feel like it's not a new practice.
Okay.
Okay, we've had the.
No, it's not a new practice.
We've had the.
Biblically.
The social media, especially, which has brought a lot of information to where it would before now be prohibited.
Yeah.
And this is the case for everything, even the normal sexual practice. It's not just about what we call deviant sexual practice.
True.
So young people are the more and more getting to know the things that you wouldn't even know before you're 18 or before you're 20.
Yeah.
So it's the same for every sphere. When I look at the history of homosexuality, even biblically,
yes,
in ancient history, you had this practice.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised, because homosexuality is a product of many factors. You mentioned people born differently. I also want to talk about the social factors. The context in which you're born and in which you grow can determine a lot.
True.
If it's not controlled,
yeah,
there's a high tendency that if you grow amongst boys as a boy,
yes,
and you have no alternative sex to maybe relate with sexually,
yes,
you might find yourself relating with the same gender. So this is also a possibility, and that's why I support Pope Francis's position on homosexuality. Sometimes we're quick to judge, we're quick to throw stones at these people who practice this without understanding the context in which they find themselves. Getting in to understand their lives and the practice could be even better, and could help us support them if we think it's the deviant practice, to support them to come out of it. I mean, if that's what society desires, if that's what the church, the people, the government, or the families desire, okay?
Yeah.
So again, historically, it existed. Now, young people are more open to it because they see it practiced. Maybe in the past it could be told, Right now, you can even with the click on the phone access material, and it looks totally overtly normal. The practice looks normal, and the how do you call it? The stereotypes on it are being washed out gradually. So, but again, I must honor the right of people to choose, and I also think that Esquire is saying that we are helpless and we must accept change. I also feel the need for us to be able to control the sort of change that comes. Otherwise, it could be catastrophic. I'm really careful about this sort of conversations because I feel the need as a peace activist to respect the spaces of each and everyone.
That's true.
But I also feel the need for us to collectively, as a global soul, learn and share together, and judge what is good for this planet, and implement just that in a way that posterity is safeguarded, and we ourselves as well are safeguarded. I mean, that's on the general basis.
Yes.
That's very true.
That is very, very true.
Yeah.
If I might expand. Normally, for example, I'll take the law. The 1965 Penal Code did not criminalize homosexuality.
Okay.
Understand? We all know, yes, it's the practice that has been going on like before, yes. But now, traditionally, those values, we can accept that it's not the same as it was back then. That's why the law had to come in. That's why in 1972, now the amended penal code had to criminalize homosexuality.
In Cameroon.
In Cameroon, yes. In 2010, the cyber security and cyber crime law had to criminalize online attempts to anything homosexual online.
Okay, online.
Yes. Displaying. Having conversation with anybody, like the famous case of 2011, Jean-Claude Mbede.
Okay.
Yes.
The text.
Yes, he texted a colleague or a mail, telling him, expressing his feelings for that mail. And he was convicted. He was arrested and convicted.
That's where I have the problem.
Okay.
These practices might be deviant, following natural law. Like if we believe that God made woman out of man, and I think he was looking for complementarity. And therefore, this is the right order, man to woman. However, like we said, context can influence people, and when they make their decisions to go with with the same sex sort of arrangement, I think criminalizing it is problematic. It's problematic for me. I mean, I accept that it's deviant. It's deviant because in the same way I would say I want to find the stone falling from the top to the ground and not from the ground all right upwards. Okay, that's how I mean deviant.
Okay.
But because someone sent a text expressing his own emotions, I mean, he has the right, okay, to say how he feels about someone. Now, dragging them to court or maybe
convicting them and all of that.
And all that, that's where I find
that's a lot.
The problem. If the practice abuses the rights and freedoms of others, then I find it that it can be criminalized. Like if you use it, I have a case some time ago. My culture does not accept homosexuality.
Okay.
So if I'm a homosexual, I cannot claim that I have that cultural backing because my culture doesn't. So I'll be marketing my culture wrongly. If I claim that my culture backs that.
Yes, that's true.
So I have a problem with this kind of people trying to mark
that kind of image, that they're being backed by a culture which doesn't accept the act in the first place. That gives a different message, like you said.
And that's why I know this might be weird, but also I want us to look at the rights and freedoms from the two ends. if the LGBT community is wanting their rights, which I'm okay with, because they're human persons, they have the right to profess whatever they feel, in as much as it doesn't affect the others. Now, if the others complain, I think they also have the right, because maybe that is affecting them, even if it's spiritually, morally. However, so we need a balance. I know that it's a minority community, but also on the majority, we need to get in to see what the majority might be facing as a result of a certain practice. So the justice scale should be parallel, should be balanced. We shouldn't have it weighing on one side just because we have a minority. I feel the sense, the need to protect the minority, and that's not arguable, because they are more vulnerable, generally speaking, than the majority. But I feel like we should also try to bridge the gap instead of
widening it more.
Projecting. Again, it doesn't need marketing. If you don't have to market you don't have to. Just like when you get married, you don't have to convince me about
that you're married.
You're married, or your relationship with your woman. It's your business, okay? You don't have to convince me about it.
Exactly.
So I feel that the need for dialogue. I feel the need for some balance in the conversations around the subject.
I totally agree with you about your point. That would be the only reason, like the major reason why we are advocating for the rights of these members of this community. Because, like I said, with the changes, with how popular it is becoming now, it is here, we cannot do away with it. We have to handle it. I'm not going to talk about good or bad. No, I won't do that. But these people are human and they have rights. They have made choices which might be contrary to society's expectations. But they are still human. And they should be treated as such. That's why you see Article 2 of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, Article 4 and 5 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. They will all call on all of us to remember the fact that we are all equal. We are all equal. And we are supposed to be free.
Exactly.
We're supposed to enjoy that freedom. We are supposed to avoid discriminating. Yes, the national law, Cameroon is going to lean on the other clause which calls for, permits them to limit people's rights because of this, of that. But then, in that limitation, like you said, there should be some inclusivity that these people can be brought into. They should not be left out because they are part of the community. Whether we like it or we don't like it, they are Cameroonians. They're Cameroonians. And if you see the popular cases, the popular ones, because there are so many ones that are going like on the download that we are not aware of. The popular ones have been heavily criticized internationally, are heavily condemned, let me not say criticized, heavily condemned internationally. So with that, all you said is really, really needed. That's why you see people raising voices. You see activists trying to raise their voices so that we can be aware of certain facts about these people. They are humans. Some of them were not. There's not ask their parents to be born that way. Especially those in the intersex group. If you're found with, let me say, a sexual anatomy that is different from society's,
from normal,
exactly,
from what society considers normal.
Hormonal as well. Those things they matter.
They do.
You cannot beat it out. You cannot bind and cast it out of somebody like that. No. You have to first of all accept, try like other means, understand the person's mindset, and first of all, before all of that, but at most treat them as humans.
That's more important.
That's what's actually very important, because personally, the first thing is, like you said, before every other thing, we all are human beings. Aside being male, being female, transgender, or whatever it's being called, We all are human beings. And two, I feel like there are a lot of these things that happen not by people doing, like you said again. Because now, okay, I just want to ask a question. Like in the case of people who are born with the two sexual genotypes, you have the male organs and the female organs. What do they do? How do they handle situations like that? In Cameroon, people born with those kind of sexual organs, right? If, okay, for instance, if I'm a lady and I'm born with both the vagina and the penis, now, and I choose, and the emotions are more reactive to the penis, that's me having feelings towards other female. No, by law, right? How is that being handled? So am I supposed to be punished and sent to jail because I have both sexual organs and this is more dominant than the other? How does that work?
Let me just bring the recent happenings around.
Okay.
Like the case in Nigeria recently.
Okay, yes.
How do they call the lady?
Bobrisky.
Yes, Bobrisky.
Lady, you called.
Yes, lady. She
identifies herself as a lady, and we have the right to respect.
I'll respect that.
I had no idea.
So, just like in Nigeria, the same thing in Cameroon. There is a huge vacuum in the law. Our lawmakers, they need to look into that. There is a vacuum there that does not address this particular fact.
Like
that there are people that biologically, morphology, the morphology is not the same like what we expect. You have to include them.
Yeah.
The law, there's a vacuum in the law there.
But some people do change their, I don't know,
plastic
surgery.
That's so expensive.
What about those who cannot exactly?
Some people do afford. Some people do afford and transform themselves.
And those who cannot afford, what do they do? Do you die?
So what does the law say? Sorry,
that's like I said,
I need to ask the man of the law.
The law does not address it.
Okay.
It does not address that.
So this is vacuum.
So those people are just...
The law is straight and forward. There's no exception. Homosexuality is forbidden.
Okay.
I think...
So maybe in court then some of these discoveries could act like mitigating factors or something?
Like I said, the most popular cases in Cameroon till date, those accused were given maximum sentences.
Okay. And how long is the maximum?
The sentence is normally from 6 months to 2 years.
Okay.
6 months to 5 years. Sorry. 6 months to 5 years, and or a fine of from 20,000 to
$1 million
to 200,000.
200.
Yes. So, Jean-Claude Bédé, they give him 5 years.
Okay.
The popular one,
Shakiro.
that's 2021, Shakiro and Patricia, who these guys, they dressed in female clothing and were in a restaurant in Douala. They were accused.
They were picked.
Okay. Yes. They're being accused. So yeah, that's
accused and sentenced. Maximum sentence.
Okay, that's just because they were dressed in
accused, convicted, and sentenced.
Wow. So because I don't think that's enough proof to declare somebody as gay.
Yeah.
Because for instance, in the entertainment industry, you have a lot of skit makers now. I mean, I think the trending thing for skit makers right now is dressing like male, like the males dressing like females and all of that. So because if you're caught dressed up like that in Cameroon, automatically you're being considered to be gay or in the LGBTQ community. So, I mean, is that not wrong judgment on the part of the law?
I was not privy to that particular matter.
Okay.
But details out, they were not only convicted for attempted homosexuality. I don't know if in court they admitted it or they yes. Also, they were also convicted for indecent dressing. Public indecency.
Okay.
And also failure to make identification.
Okay.
So they had 5 years. They had a 5-year sentence. They were later released while awaiting their appeal.
Okay. So how do international bodies come to play into Cameroonians who identify themselves as LGBTQ? I mean, regardless of the fact that the laws of the international bodies cannot really hold as firm as it is in Cameroon, what role do they play? How can they help or to navigate
They have certain organizations, I'll say Amnesty International and several other NGOs. They actually fund bills for lawyers to represent these accused persons.
Okay.
Yes, and mostly in most cases, I think when your freedom is really that threatened, this some of these organizations, they even organize and move you out of the country to a place where they can actually accommodate your person and your identities.
Okay.
Yes, so that's just one.
Okay.
Another one I would say is we have to talk to our lawmakers. We go back to our various communities, talk to our lawmakers, maybe educate them on this, or maybe raise them, not to educate them, remind them of the facts of the matter that's at hand, like the intersex community and all of those people that is biological, like people you cannot actually deny. I'm not saying anyone is less or bigger than the other one, no, but at least educate them that they need to include these people
to feel like they belong.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. I have one more question for you, the law. So as being the fact that in Cameroon LGBTQ is being prohibited, as lawyers, do you guys, aside from the international bodies which sponsors lawyers to represent these people, okay, do you work with any of these international bodies?
Yes, recently I was registered to Amnesty International in the UK.
Okay, so that's to say you are a representative of the members of the LGBTQ.
I'm an activist under that
organization.
Activist
under the organization for the LGBTQ community in Cameroon.
Yes.
So means that people facing problems like that could get to you.
Of course, not only me, every accused person is
entitled to a lawyer.
Exactly.
So regardless now of the case, so now but the lawyer has the right to decline a client who is LGBTQ.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Of course.
All right.
So lawyers do defend their own values as well.
Of course. The profession is one
crazy.
like full of value and
Okay.
morals,
Okay.
codes of conduct, very strict ones.
All right. So I just want to ask. So now, to your personality, like you said, values, morals, and all. Generally, being an activist, being somebody who wants to represent or who is representing the LGBTQ community in Cameroon, how does that affect your work life, personal life, and I mean, how does that play? Does that have any role to play in your personal life or in your career?
Just like any of my clients that I represent and will ever represent, I look at them like the same. If someone is charged with murder and I have to represent the person, I have to represent the person is my client. I've taken up the file. I'll follow through to the end, like in the most possible, the best way I can.
Okay. But like outside relationships, and because one thing I noticed is when you're a member of this community, most times, like the female footballer, is it Enanga or somebody, I've forgotten. There's this female footballer was accused of being a lesbian. I think at some point it was a sex tape and all. Now, after that incident, I think I heard rumors of her career endorsements being pulled out, her career falling, and all of that.
Okay,
I mean, there are many things that always come with these things.
Yeah.
Once somebody gets involved, you just hear of people backing out career-wise. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
So, do you have any of those experiences?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
And even if you do, how would you advise somebody else to handle it?
First thing you have to take in mind is the fact that everybody is entitled to his own opinion. And for me, I would just think the person is not fully informed. To think that the person does not deserve rights to counsel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think the person is misinformed. And if you cannot accept to be educated on that,
there's nothing
else I can do.
Exactly.
I don't reserve any hard feelings. No.
All right. Thank you very much. And Mr. Lee, so please tell us, as the peace activist and advocate, so what are your advice and counsel that you give in terms of people who suffer in the LGBTQ community, and a message as well to the government and the community out loud?
Thank you. I like to say we need to pay attention to humanity, which transcends every ethnic, racial, sexual orientation, whatever, ideology people get to choose for their own lives. Like I said before, we are a global soul, and we need to contemplate means of making this space we call the world good for everyone.
Yes.
And this can only happen if we dialogue to understand each other, and be ready to also, because I believe in accountability.
Yeah.
You take responsibility for your
decisions.
decisions. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. There needs to be that mutual respect. If you choose to be LGBTQ, and maybe a company or some corporate body doesn't support that, and they feel like you can't work with them because of that, I also feel the need for you to accept
their decision.
that decision.
Very,
exactly.
very true.
Yeah. And as far as justice is concerned, I like to see that governments are also putting the same eye as they would put on LGBT community to the community of corrupt leaders. I also want to see that they're putting, because there's a lot of, because they're criminalizing LGBTQ, which might not be a crime, but it's a sin in my faith, because it does not align with what the faith prescribes.
Yeah.
But corruption is both a sin and a crime.
Yes.
But I know it's criminalized per law, but we don't find that energy you would find behind
the LGBT
who are sometimes despised, assaulted.
Very true.
I would like to see that this energy
transmits through every other negative and bad.
Because I must say, when I say the prescription of sexuality according to my faith, I mean that all sex out of marriage is sin. Mm-hmm. Now, idolatry is sin. Homosexuality is sin. I mean, all other forms, fornication and all that. So are we also criminalizing those? No. So do not practice all of these and then feel like you're on the safe side, whereas the LGBT, I know really it might sound absurd and queer, because sometimes the practice doesn't take what people would consider a natural way, but also I know it transcends sexual activity. Sometimes homosexuality goes beyond sexual relations and all that. So it's really complex, like I say. Beyond all of these, I like us to seek humanity, like to honor and respect each other. Try to see how we can push for our own personal goals, and also support others to do same, giving them the space and all the support they need, without judging. I prefer that we practice more curiosity over judgment. Yes. Because, like he said, it's a phenomenon. It's there. The only thing we can do about it is to dialogue and see and see how helpful we could be to get it better for the sake of the world. If it's a bad practice, how do we work with those who are involved to get a better practice for to safeguard
the safety of the rest
the dignity
of the world.
and everyone in the world. So I mean, that would be my last word. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Esquire, any last words from you?
I'll be saying the same thing I've been saying. This phenomenon is here. Like you said, we have to deal with it. And how do we deal with it? First, within us, we have to educate ourselves about it, judge less, and also bear in mind that these people are humans and we owe them certain rights. The way they are being treated in the prisons in Cameroon is not the best. We have to accommodate it. They are criminals according to the law. And like any other criminals, those in prisons they too have rights. They should be respected. These people are not aliens, they're humans. So once we have educated ourselves, accepted that this is here already? Where do I fall? And in the same light, those in the community to have to respect, like you said, the opinion and choices of identities of those who are not in the community.
Yeah.
With that, when we come to that understanding, I think we'll be in a place where we can actually accommodate these people. Somebody is gay, the person I know is gay, he respects my choice. I'm not gay, I'm straight. You understand? He respects and I respect his or our own choice.
Yeah.
And we know where to draw the line. Yes, we can be together. That has no problem for me. So once we do that in our hearts, in our minds, we can start reaching out to those who represent us in the parliament, holding talks, seminars to educate one another. Hopefully, we'll get a better law.
Thank you very much. So generally, on my point, I would like to say, like you said already, the need for the LGBTQ community to respect those out of their community, because I feel like one of the things that makes it so tense and so difficult for society to also accommodate them is because they become so impulsive. I mean, like in secondary school, for example, you hear of senior students who are male senior students trying to force themselves on junior male students. I mean, don't try to don't implant the act into another person who has not found themselves in that space. I mean, they need to respect other people and their decisions, because LGBTQ, just that act, being LGBTQ, does not take away the fact that you're a human being, does not take away your good personality, does not take away your hard work, does not take away your success. It's just a stereotype which has been so long gone with with so much of a bad influence. But as well, they should also help to make it balanced. They should help the community to help understand them and be able to balance up the whole situation. So thank you all very much for coming. And we have come to the end of this episode. So before we go, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who has been supporting us, watching, sharing, subscribing. I mean, the love has been massive. Those who have been calling and sending in ideas. And all we can do is giving our best, stay consistent, and improve as time goes on per episode. So thank you for staying with us. And do not forget to like, share, subscribe. And it's a wrap. Bye.